one of the things that they felt called to do in their life was to provide a home for children with special needs. So I was not the only child they adopted. I have 5 other siblings who also have special needs, meaning that they have disabilities. And then my parents had 2 children of their own, or biologically. So there was 8 of us growing up. It was a big, chaotic, happy family. And one of the greatest things that my parents did was they advocated for my education. So they made sure that I got the best education possible. So when I was a kid, there were not as many laws as there are now to protect people with disabilities. Have any of you ever heard of the Americans with Disabilities Act? You probably will learn that in middle school. But the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990, and it protects people with disabilities. It's a series of laws, and one of the laws that's in there says that people with disabilities have to be educated in the public schools. And so when I was a kid, that law was not there. And so the public schools were telling my parents that they wouldn't educate me. And so my parents fought really hard to make sure that I got into the classroom and that I was educated with all of my peers. And I'm really thankful for that, because without education, you can't do a lot in life. You guys probably know that that's true, right? So I'm very, very thankful that I got to be educated and go through school with all my peers. So one of the great things about that was that the door of education opened a lot of opportunities in my life. I use the education that I received every day as a motivational speaker and the professions that I do. But one of the other challenging things that happened while I was going to school was that I got teased because I looked different. And that happens a lot. If you look different in school when you're younger, a lot of times kids will tease you. It's not just because it was just me. It's happened to a lot of kids all throughout the world. And so what I experienced when I was being teased was I felt scared. I felt insecure. It would have really hurt my feelings. It hurt my heart. But the good news is that I went to Pacific Lutheran University, and I was surrounded by encouragement there. So it was a complete opposite experience in college than it was in the public school. And in college, I experienced acceptance and true friendship, and I started to be built up inside my heart. And what that did is those years of being in college, where it was encouraging and positive, and people were saying positive things to me, and I felt accepted and loved and supported. It took away the hurtful words that were spoken to me in the earlier years of my life, and I started to feel confident. I started to feel confident in my gifts and talents. And my gifts and talents that started to show up at an early age, which they are for you now too, is singing, dancing, anything that has to do with performing and speaking in public. My parents recognized that I was going to be a public speaker when I was 4 years old. They took me and my brothers and sisters to a rodeo, and all of a sudden I was missing. They couldn't find me anywhere, and they got a little worried, and they started looking for me everywhere, and I had hopped away from them and found the announcer at the rodeo and told him that I wanted to talk on the microphone. And so the announcer had given me the microphone and was telling me what to say. And that's how my parents found me. They heard me over the loudspeaker. And my dad said that I was 4 years old, but I sounded like a grown-up. And so they saw that early on. And so when I was in that positive environment where I was being accepted and where people were speaking encouraging words to me, like they were telling me, you are a good singer, you're a great singer. You are going to change people's lives with your story. You are beautiful, you're special, you're going to travel the world. All these things that I never thought were actually going to happen, but it was always a dream inside of me. They started to feel real, and I started to have the confidence to do it, to do my dreams, to go after them. So I got a master's degree in counseling, and in 2011, I started a motivational speaking business through all the encouragement that I had received from my friends. And I started to travel around and speak at schools. And I had an anti-bullying campaign called The Power of Words. That's how I won the title of Miss Wheelchair America, was with the anti-bullying campaign, The Power of Words. And this title of Miss Wheelchair America has made it so I get to travel all over the United States. I've been in almost every major city in the U.S., including Waikiki, Hawaii, where I got to adaptive surf. And I went to South Dakota and I adaptive skied on a big mountain, which was really scary and fun. And I've learned how to fly on airplanes, to take taxis in my wheelchair, and I travel everywhere independently and speak to crowds just like this. And it is so fun, and it's a dream come true. And my dreams have come true because of the encouraging words that people have spoken to me. And so I share all of that with the hopes that you'll take that encouragement back to your school, because all of you are leaders in your school, right? You're all student body leaders. So you have the opportunity to make your school an encouraging place and not a place where kids are being bullied. Because just as I shared, being bullied is really hard on someone's part, and it makes them forget who they are inside. But being encouraged can help people in their hearts, and it can help them see the good in themselves. And so that leads us to the game we're going to